Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be getting ready for Halloween, one of my favorite holidays of the year. We're going to show you how we make our tombstones from scratch from foam insulation board. I mean, what's the point of having a CNC machine if you can't have a little fun with it, right? So the first thing you're going to want to do is go into VCarve or Carbide Create and make you a couple of mock-ups of your tombstones. Now keep in mind that these are going to be foam and you can pretty much go as fast as the machine will go, but I found out if you slowed it down just a little bit, you get more crisp cuts on the edges. Now with foam, there's several ways to cut it. You can use a straight edge and a razor blade, but it does take a while, especially on the 1-inch thick material that we're using. But the easiest way is just to use your table saw. If you're going to spend the money for a table saw, you might as well use it. The cuts are clean with no burrs. Now that you got them all cut out, go ahead and get them all chucked up in your CNC machine. And your hold down doesn't have to be perfect, just want it to where it doesn't move. Again, you can turn your feeds and speeds up to about 200 or so. You don't want to go much higher than that because you'll start getting some tear outs instead of clean cuts. But it won't take very long at all to cut these tombstones out. If you're looking for some ideas of what to make your tombstones, you can do a quick Google search, and there's all kinds of Halloween tombstones out there. And just kind of like we did, we just mixed and matched a couple of them and kind of made some of them our own. It's real easy to make the tombstone shapes and with just basic circles, arcs, and squares and the VCarve or Carbide Create for that matter. The important thing is just to have fun with it. This is supposed to be a fun project. In all of these cutouts, I really only use 2 bits. Now I use Amana bits. There's a 1/4 inch upcut and a 1/8 upcut, but Carbide 3D has the same bits, and I believe they come with the kit. Well, I know the 1/4 inch comes with the kit. One of the main reasons I use the Amana bits is the 1/8 inch bit is still a 1/4 inch shank, so I don't have to change my collet on my spindle. So it's just back and forth between the 1/4 inch and 1/8 without having to change the collet. Again, I do have the speeds of the clip turned up quite a bit, but this does cut out pretty quick, so it doesn't really take a whole lot of time. Doing your designing and your prep work on your material probably going to take longer than it does to actually cut it out. Depending on how many bit changes you have, the way I try to do mine is I try to do my 1/4 inch that I'll pocket everything out, then I'll do my 1/8 to come back and do my detail, and then of course I'll switch to my 1/4 inch so I can do my last profile cut and cut it all out. So there's really only 2 real tool changes in it. Now keep in mind this is insulation that you're cutting, so you don't want to breathe it. Mine is inside an enclosure with the vacuum, so if you do not have an enclosure or a dust boot, at least wear a mask. This stuff will go everywhere. It is electrically charged. It does have a static charge to it, so it will stick to almost anything. I do want to try to make some of these out of some PVC board. It's just not very common around here. I haven't really seen it in all the stores that I've got. And I'm not real sure how much the PVC board costs, but this didn't cost anything. The one sheet is $20 and you can make 6 of these out of that sheet. So in total we made 12 tombstones. So we used 2 sheets of the 1-inch Formula 150 insulation board and also 2 sheets of 3/8 plywood, and again it made 12 of each of those. I will tell you a V-bit is probably not the right bit for foam. You really want to stick with the square end mills, 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, they do well. The V-bit really just tore at stuff. It didn't have any crisp edges. It will work, it's just not the greatest.
Our plywood backing, this is just to stiffen it up for the wind, and all we have to do is go back into our V-carve and just use a profile cutout, and it shouldn't take too long. So let's get started.
Just a quick reminder, when you switch back to cut out your profile, make sure you change your depth to the depth of your plywood. Don't leave it at the 1 inch, and also change your feeding speeds back to your plywood feeding speeds. Don't leave it at 200. Just FYI. Cover the outside perimeter, and then we're going to fill in the inside with the adhesive, and then we'll go ahead and put the plywood backing on the back side, and we'll go ahead and weight it down just to make sure that it stays down. And I finally found a use for the weights from the weight machine. Told you I would. Now that they're glued and dried, we're going to go ahead and throw a couple coats of paint on them. Now, the foam insulation is naturally water resistant, but this exterior latex will help them last a little longer. Hopefully these will hold up for a few years. Now when you get ready to put these in the ground, the way I'm going to do mine is just a couple pieces of rebar with a strap over them, screwed into the back of the plywood. That should be plenty to hold these up. They're pretty lightweight. Well, I had never thought of foam as a cutting material but I hadn't seen it anywhere, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I hope you guys will have fun making these. I know I had a blast making them. I think they turned out pretty cool. Makes you take a lot more pride in your yard when you made the decorations yourself. Everybody out there have a safe Halloween. Watch out for the kiddos.